Right, ladies, we're good to go. Thank you so much for coming today. I hope you really enjoy this book. And speaking of this book, you don't know what the title is, do you?
No.
Okay. So one of the first things I want to do with you is, this is a picture that appears on the cover of the book. So I want you to hold it in your hand. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions to get you kind of warmed up. In education, we call it front-loading you, so you kind of know what to expect. So when you look at the cover of this book that you don't know the title of, what does it make you think this story is about? Kenny?
I don't know, maybe about a little girl.
Seems logical. And that little, what do you think, Lindsay?
She might go visit to Paris, or she might live in Paris.
And what makes you think Paris?
Because the Eiffel Tower is in the background.
Very good. Have either of you been to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower? Okay. How old do you think that little girl is?
Maybe like 7 or 10.
Somewhere
Around
between
there.
7 or 10? What do you think, Lindsay?
Yeah, maybe like 8 or 9.
Boy, are you smarty pants. How old are you, Kenny?
I'm 10.
And how old are you?
9.
9, 10. So a little bit younger than you, probably, don't you think?
Yeah.
Good idea. So is there anything unusual about what she's wearing?
Sort of. Well, what's wondering me is why she has a piece of cake in her hand.
Oh, well, okay. Well, why do you think she has a piece of cake in her hands?
Maybe she's eating cake.
Okay. So if I were going to have a treat for you ladies for volunteering to be here today, what do you think the treat might be?
Chocolate cake.
Would that be okay? Do either of you like chocolate cake?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if I can make that happen. So looking at her clothes, do you see anything that looks kind of unusual about her clothes?
Maybe she's wearing a uniform.
Kind of looks a little bit like a school
Yeah.
uniform, the plaid jumper. And what do you think about what's on her feet?
Yeah, that's what I started to wonder about, because there's it's glowing.
Yeah.
around it.
Glowing. And what color are those shoes?
Red.
All right, I think you're going to find out that those glowing red shoes, the chocolate cake, the little girl play a big part of it, as does Paris, France. So just from looking at the picture on the front of a book, even without knowing the title, it can give you some ideas and kind of open up your mind to be thinking about those things before you hear things read. I'm going to take those from you for a little bit. I'm going to ask you, did you ever come home from school and smell something really yummy in your house cooking?
Yes.
Can you think of something that somebody made? Tell me about that.
One time I came home and I smelled cookies.
They smell good when they're baking in the oven. What were you going to say, Kenny?
Well, I was also going to say cookies, but then a lot of times there are also cupcakes cooking.
Yummy. I think desserts smell just about the best, don't you? Very good. And here's another question I wanted to ask you. Do you have your own bedroom, or do either of you share a bedroom with someone else?
I have my own, yeah.
Okay. Do either of you have twin beds or a bunk bed?
I have a queen.
A queen. Have you ever had a friend sleep over and
Yeah.
actually stay in your bed?
Yeah.
And you too? Very good. Have you ever had someone come to visit who then stayed overnight at your house? Didn't go back to their... Can you remember who that might be, Kenny, that did that at your home?
Well, I had my old babysitters that sometimes do that with me.
Come to visit?
Yeah.
Okay, and Lindsay, looks like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, a couple of times when I was little, my babysitter would just sleep over, and once my aunt slept over.
Exactly. So that's good. Do you like having people sleep over? Very good. All right, before I start reading to you, I wanted to show you a couple of words. The first word is Susies. The second word is Shoesies. Susie's, Shoesies. Do you notice anything unusual about these two words? Are they alike in any way? Are they different in any way?
They sort of rhyme.
They sort of rhyme.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
And they have a lot of S's.
They have a lot of S's. It's not the easiest thing to say. What's this over here?
Like an apostrophe.
Exactly. And when you see something that's apostrophe S, have you learned what that means?
Yeah, it means that if it's a name, then they belong to them.
So what do you think belongs to Susie?
Her shoes.
And we're going to, yes, her Shoesies. All right, so keep that in the back of your mind, Susie Shoesies. And then I wanted to show you something else about these words. When you look at these words, the first one is remarkable. The second one is confirming. Do you see any little words inside this big word that might make it easier to read? Lindsay?
Mark and Abel.
Mark and Abel. Okay. Lindsay, do you see any words here that might make it easy to read?
I see firm.
Exactly. Confirming. Have you ever noticed that words can either be sounded out, like syllable by syllable, or you don't really have to sound this out because you see little words within it, and then you just kind of string those little words together. And that kind of helps you with reading. So one of the things at the back of this book is every single chapter has a list of new words, and they're divided up into whether they're phonetically correct, in other words, could be sounded out if you knew phonic reading rules, or they're sight words that you don't really sound out, but because they have little words inside of big words, they make it easier to read. So I just, even though you're not going to be reading today, I just wanted to show our audience that this is something that's included in the book. So without further ado, you're comfy?